Imagine stepping into a world where time slows down, where every detail is meticulously crafted not for speed, but for stature. That's the essence of the Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow, a car that doesn't just drive through the decades, but glides through them with a kind of presence few vehicles have ever managed to match. Conceived in an era of cultural revolution and emerging modernism, the Silver Shadow stood defiantly elegant against a backdrop of change, redefining what automotive luxury could and should be. Born in 1965, it didn't roar onto the scene with aggression or bravado. It arrived with poise, quietly commanding respect with its graceful lines, whisper-quiet cabin, and a demeanor that spoke to those who didn't need to shout their success. Nearly 60 years later, the Silver Shadow remains a benchmark of luxury not because of brute force or technological fireworks, but because it captured a level of refinement so complete, so assured, that it has never truly been outclassed. Today, amidst a sea of digital displays, touchscreens, and synthetic soundscapes, the Silver Shadow still exudes a kind of analog majesty, a handcrafted authenticity that continues to resonate deeply with collectors, enthusiasts, and connoisseurs of automotive excellence. What makes a car built in the mid-1960s still considered the embodiment of luxury today? The answer lies not in fleeting trends, but in enduring values, craftsmanship, quality, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. Rolls-Royce, long revered as the pinnacle of automotive artistry, poured its soul into the Silver Shadow. It was the first Rolls-Royce to be built using a monocoque chassis, offering a more refined ride and greater structural integrity. The engineering brilliance didn't stop there. Under the bonnet rested a powerful 6.2-liter V8 engine in the early models, later enlarged to 6.75 liters, not to boast on spec sheets, but to ensure an effortless, almost ghostly delivery of power. No sudden surges, no unrefined roars, just smooth, endless thrust like a private jet taking flight. The Silver Shadow didn't compete with the fastest cars on the road. It competed with your expectations of perfection, and won every time. But beyond its mechanical excellence, it was the design of the Silver Shadow that truly set it apart. While many luxury cars of the day were hulking beasts, bristling with chrome and bulk, the Shadow was sculpted with an eye for proportion and subtlety. It was lower, sleeker, and more modern than its predecessors, signaling a quiet evolution in taste. The signature, Parthenon, grille still stood proudly up front, instantly recognizable and regal, but everything around it was more refined, more intentional. The flanks were smooth and unbroken, the proportions near perfect, and the overall silhouette exuded dignified restraint. It was, and remains, an aesthetic triumph, one that continues to inspire modern Rolls-Royce models, all of which owe a spiritual debt to this mid-century masterpiece. Slide into the cabin of a Silver Shadow, and it becomes immediately clear why this car has transcended time. It's not just an interior, it's a lounge, a sanctuary, a statement. The dashboard is a celebration of wood veneer, carefully selected, hand-finished, and polished to a warm, inviting sheen. Switchgear is minimal, functional, and tactile, with a sense of heft and permanence rarely found today. The seats, wide, plush, and deeply cushioned, invite you to sink in and forget the world outside. Leather, not just any leather, but hides chosen from herds raised without barbed wire to ensure blemish-free perfection, wraps every surface with a sense of natural luxury that no synthetic material can replicate. Everything in the cabin of the Silver Shadow was made to be touched, admired, and lived with, not just looked at. It was an era when luxury wasn't about how much tech you could cram into a cabin, but how well each element spoke to the senses. The cultural impact of the Silver Shadow cannot be overstated. This was not just a car for royalty, heads of state, or captains of industry, though it certainly counted them among its loyal clientele. It was a cultural icon, appearing in films, gracing red carpets, and parked outside the world's most exclusive hotels. It stood for something greater than transportation. It was the physical embodiment of taste, discretion, and success. When people saw a Silver Shadow, they didn't just see a car, they saw legacy. They saw permanence. They saw the kind of confidence that doesn't need to explain itself. This aura, this legacy, is what makes the Silver Shadow so coveted today. Even in a modern context, where electric vehicles and autonomous driving dominate the conversation, the Silver Shadow's presence on the road elicits a kind of reverent pause. It's a reminder that elegance never shouts, it whispers, and when done right, the whole world leans in to listen. And let's not forget, the Silver Shadow was not just beautiful, it was revolutionary. Rolls-Royce outfitted it with a hydropneumatic suspension system, licensed from Citroën, that offered a ride so smooth it redefined the phrase magic carpet. Combined with automatic leveling and disc brakes on all four wheels, a rarity at the time, the driving experience was unmatched in serenity and composure. This wasn't about stiff handling or sporty performance. This was about grace, composure, and making the very act of motion an indulgent pleasure. Every journey in the Silver Shadow felt like a personal retreat from the noise and stress of the outside world. It turned commutes into experiences and destinations into mere suggestions. With the Silver Shadow, the journey was always the reward. So why, even today, do collectors and enthusiasts continue to seek out this decades-old marvel? Because the Silver Shadow represents more than just a car, it represents a philosophy. It's a rolling monument to an era when things were built to last, when luxury was defined by attention to detail, and when engineers and craftsmen worked side by side to create objects of lasting beauty. To own a Silver Shadow is to become part of that legacy, to align oneself with the values of timeless elegance, understated prestige, and unrelenting quality. These are not just marketing buzzwords. They are woven into the very fabric of every Silver Shadow ever built. As modern cars continue to evolve toward minimalism, digital interfaces, and electric propulsion, the Silver Shadow becomes not obsolete, but more special. It's a snapshot of a different time, but one that still speaks volumes in our current age. It's a car that rewards the senses, encourages reflection, and reminds us that luxury is as much about experience as it is about specification. In the Silver Shadow, we find an antidote to the speed and stress of the modern world, a rolling haven where time slows, manners matter, and grace rules the road. It's not just about where you're going. It's about how you arrive, and in a Silver Shadow, you arrive with style that is as timeless as the car itself. For more than half a century, the Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow has stood as an unwavering symbol of elegance, class, and peerless automotive luxury. It's more than a car, it's a cultural touchstone, a generational icon that defined the standard of what a luxury vehicle should be and continues to influence the design language and engineering philosophies of modern high-end automobiles. From the moment it first graced the world's roads in 1965, the Silver Shadow announced itself not with brashness, but with the quiet confidence of something destined to become legendary. Its presence wasn't just recognized, it was revered. This was the car that told the world you had arrived, not because you wanted attention, but because you understood the value of subtlety, grace, and enduring quality. The legacy of the Silver Shadow is inseparable from the legacy of Rolls-Royce itself. Founded in 1906 by Charles Rolls and Henry Royce, the brand quickly established a reputation for creating what would be known as the best car in the world. That wasn't marketing, that was a mission. By the time the 1960s rolled around, Rolls-Royce had already spent decades building ultra-luxury vehicles by hand, each a bespoke masterpiece of British engineering and craftsmanship. But the world was changing. Jet age optimism, economic shifts, and a new kind of modernity were redefining global tastes. Rolls-Royce understood that if it were to continue leading, it couldn't just rest on its past. It had to evolve, and thus, the Silver Shadow was born. With its debut, the Silver Shadow marked a significant departure from the traditional construction methods Rolls-Royce had relied on for years. Gone was the separate chassis and body layout. In its place, a monocoque chassis structure, revolutionary at the time, provided not only greater structural rigidity, but also a much lower ride height, allowing for a sleeker and more contemporary design. This wasn't just about aesthetics. This was a carefully considered decision to align luxury with modern expectations of ride comfort, safety, and dynamic behavior. It was a bold move for such a storied brand, and yet it was done with such finesse that the essence of Rolls-Royce, Its stately presence, its hushed serenity, remained perfectly intact. Visually, the Silver Shadow was a masterpiece of proportion and understated sophistication. Its exterior lines were smooth and flowing, with just enough formality to honor the brand's aristocratic heritage, yet modern enough to appeal to the tastefully progressive elite. The long bonnet, flowing waistline, and elegant rear deck created a visual rhythm that was calming and authoritative. Chrome accents were used sparingly, not to dazzle but to define. The classic upright grille, flanked by dual headlamps and topped with the legendary Spirit of Ecstasy, remained a timeless declaration of status and design continuity. It was unmistakable on the road. Even from a distance, one glance was enough to recognize that this was not just another car, it was a Rolls-Royce, and more specifically it was the Silver Shadow. Underneath its refined exterior, the Silver Shadow was an engineering marvel. Early models came equipped with a 6.2-liter V8 engine, later enlarged to the iconic 6.75-liter unit that has become synonymous with Rolls-Royce refinement. This power plant was not tuned for performance in the traditional sense. There were no lap records to chase, no tire-smoking theatrics to boast. Instead, the engine delivered its power with a smoothness so profound that acceleration felt more like being gently lifted by an invisible force than pushed forward. Combined with a 3-speed automatic transmission, the drivetrain offered one of the most serene motoring experiences ever created. The car moved like a dream, gliding over surfaces, cocooning its occupants in a silent world far removed from the noise of reality. Part of that otherworldly ride quality came courtesy of its hydropneumatic suspension system, a technology borrowed and adapted from Citroën, but refined to a level of execution only Rolls-Royce could manage. The system offered self-leveling capabilities, ensuring the car remained perfectly balanced regardless of road conditions or passenger load. Corners became gentle curves, potholes mere whispers beneath the wheels. It was this commitment to a supremely isolated, effortless drive that truly elevated the Silver Shadow into the realm of luxury icons. It didn't just take you somewhere. It transported you, both physically and emotionally. Inside, the Silver Shadow revealed its most intoxicating secrets. Open the door, and you were greeted not with gimmicks or screens, but with the rich, warm embrace of traditional materials and handcrafted perfection. Every surface you touched was real wood, real leather, real metal. The seats were not aggressively bolstered or sport-oriented, but wide, deep, and pillowy, designed for comfort over conquest. The wood veneers that lined the dashboard and door panels were not mass-produced. They were individually selected, hand-finished, and installed with the kind of reverence usually reserved for furniture and palaces. The air inside carried the subtle scent of premium hides, expertly tanned and stitched with care. Nothing was rushed, and everything was purposeful. And yet, for all its old-world charm, the Silver Shadow was not without its innovations. Power windows, air conditioning, adjustable seats, and even early forms of cruise control were available, a testament to how Rolls-Royce integrated modern convenience into its luxury ethos without disrupting the purity of the experience. These weren't features added as afterthoughts or gimmicks to impress. They were part of a holistic vision of what it meant to travel in ultimate comfort. The controls were intuitive, the switches and buttons solid and precise. You didn't just operate the Silver Shadow, you interacted with it, with the kind of tactile satisfaction that digital interfaces could never replicate. The Silver Shadow's cultural footprint is perhaps just as significant as its technical and aesthetic triumphs. It wasn't just a car, it was an icon. In film, it became shorthand for wealth and taste. Whether it was gliding through a European capital or parked outside a mansion in Beverly Hills, the presence of a Silver Shadow on screen instantly elevated the status of a character. In music, it became part of the lifestyle of legends, gracing the garages of rock stars and royalty alike. From the Beatles to Elvis Presley, from Princess Margaret to Frank Sinatra, the Silver Shadow was embraced by those whose lives were defined by excellence and individualism. And on the streets, it was the vehicle of choice for diplomats, dignitaries, and dreamers who understood that true luxury is not loud, it's deeply personal. Its influence on modern car design is undeniable. Look at any contemporary luxury sedan, and you'll see echoes of the Silver Shadow's philosophy. Clean lines, a focus on comfort, restraint in ornamentation, and a celebration of material authenticity. These are all principles that Rolls-Royce cemented with the Silver Shadow. Even today's Ghost and Phantom models carry the DNA of the Shadow in their proportions, their ride quality, and their ability to blend modernity with heritage. Designers still reference it. Collectors still chase it. And for many, it remains the pinnacle of automotive good taste. As a collectible, the Silver Shadow occupies a special place in the world of classic cars. Unlike many vintage vehicles that demand constant mechanical attention or feel antiquated in everyday use, the Silver Shadow remains remarkably usable. Its build quality, its engineering robustness, and the availability of parts and specialist knowledge have kept it alive and appreciated in classic car circles. And while values have seen modest increases compared to other vintage marques, this only adds to the Silver Shadow's charm. It's still accessible to those who truly appreciate its unique blend of style and substance. More than an investment, it's a companion, a statement, a chapter in a lifelong love affair with the art of driving. So why does the Silver Shadow continue to enchant new generations of automotive enthusiasts? The answer lies in its ability to transcend the trends and tropes of its time. It wasn't created to dominate racetracks or impress in spreadsheets. It was designed to deliver a feeling of being cared for, of moving through the world in a way that's gentle, beautiful, and meaningful. It's a vehicle that connects you not only to the road, but to a lineage of design, engineering, and artistry that has all but vanished in the modern world. In the Silver Shadow, you feel something rare, that the machine you're in was made not just for utility, but for joy. There's a kind of quiet dignity that comes with owning or even experiencing a Silver Shadow. It doesn't beg to be noticed. It doesn't chase clout or scream innovation for the sake of it. Instead, it sits confidently in the knowledge that true luxury never ages. It simply becomes more refined with time. Every journey in a Silver Shadow is a meditation in motion, a moment to appreciate craftsmanship over convenience, presence over performance, and heritage over hype. It teaches us that elegance isn't a fleeting trend but a timeless truth, one that lives on not just in the polished chrome and lamb's wool carpets of the Silver Shadow, but in the enduring spirit of the brand that created it. In the end, the Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow stands as a testament to an era and a mindset that believed in doing things not just well, but perfectly. It is more than metal and leather. It is philosophy on wheels, elegance in motion, and a benchmark of luxury that, even after all these years, has never truly been surpassed. To see one is to admire it. To drive one is to understand it. But to own one, that is to be part of a legacy that whispers quietly but speaks volumes. The Silver Shadow doesn't just remain relevant, it remains necessary. A rolling reminder that some things were done right the first time and deserve to be cherished forever. Timeless elegance, why the Silver Shadow remains the luxury benchmark. In the world of classic luxury, few names hold as much reverence as the Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow. It wasn't just a car, it was a revolution, a rolling statement of taste, class, and ambition. From the moment it graced the roads in the mid-1960s, the Silver Shadow didn't just follow trends, it created them. It rewrote the rules of automotive design and redefined what it meant to travel in supreme comfort. More than 50 years later, its legacy still shimmers, untouched by time, standing proudly as the gold standard in luxury motoring. Everything about the Silver Shadow was forward-thinking. The elegant monocoque chassis brought structural integrity and grace to a segment dominated by bulky, body-on-frame behemoths. The self-leveling suspension offered a ride so smooth it felt like gliding through the clouds. The powerful 6.75-liter V8 purred with quiet confidence, whispering that power doesn't need to roar, it merely needs to arrive. Step inside, and you're enveloped in a sanctuary of opulence. Rich, hand-stitched leather. Deep walnut veneers, polished to a mirror finish. Switchgear machined with the precision of a fine watch. The Silver Shadow wasn't just built, it was crafted, painstakingly, lovingly, by the hands of artisans who treated each component as a work of art. But its greatness wasn't confined to its engineering or craftsmanship. It became an icon, a fixture in film, a muse for musicians, a status symbol for the elite. Whether ferrying royalty through London or appearing on the silver screen, the Silver Shadow exuded timeless elegance. Even today, it commands admiration at car shows, in private collections, and in the hearts of enthusiasts who know that true luxury never fades, it evolves. Its influence is unmistakable in every modern luxury car. The quiet cabin, the plush ride, the restrained styling, all trace their lineage back to the Silver Shadow. It was the bridge between tradition and innovation, a car that honored the past while boldly embracing the future. And it did it all with grace. So what makes the Silver Shadow still matter today? It's more than nostalgia. It's about values, craftsmanship over mass production, comfort over flash, elegance over excess. It's about understanding that luxury isn't just about features, it's about feeling. The Silver Shadow doesn't just transport you, it transforms you. If you've enjoyed this journey through one of the most iconic luxury cars ever made, don't forget to share this video with fellow car lovers, collectors, and anyone who appreciates timeless design. And for more stories about the legends of the road, the art of automotive excellence, and the machines that shaped our world, make sure to follow our channel. We'll keep bringing you more classics, more legends, and more reasons to fall in love with cars all over again. This is timeless elegance. This is the Silver Shadow. And this is why it remains the luxury benchmark.